Daddy, can we bring him with us? The cowboy went still at her words. A frontier memory, as told by a man who was there. I don't know what made me look twice. I was tired. The kind of tired that sits behind your eyes and doesn't. We'd been on the road 3 days, and Nora had barely slept, and neither had I. And all I wanted was to get off that main street and find somewhere warm to put her down. But she saw him first. She always did, that girl. Even at 4 years old, she noticed things I walked right past. He was sitting on the edge of the boardwalk. Maybe 6, maybe 7. Small for whatever age he was. Dressed in a coat that had been patched so many times, the patches had patches. And around his neck, hanging on a cord of twine, was a piece of cardboard. I had to read it twice. $5. Just that. $5. Like he was something you could purchase. Like somebody had written that number down and hung it on him and walked away. He wasn't crying. That was the part that stayed with me. He was just sitting there, hands on his knees, looking at nothing across the street. Nora was in my arms. She'd been fussing most of the morning, but she went quiet when she saw him, pointed one small finger. "Daddy," she said, "why does that boy have a sign?" I didn't have an answer for that. Not a true one. Some people, I started, and then I stopped, because I didn't know how to finish it in a way she'd understand. In a way I understood. I've carried this one a long time, longer than I should have. If you're still here with me, don't disappear just yet. There's more to this, and I think it matters. I set Nora down on the boardwalk and crouched in front of the boy. He looked at me the way children look when they've learned that adult attention usually means something is about to change, and change doesn't usually mean better. "What's your name?" I said. He didn't answer right away. Looked at my face, then at Nora, who was standing behind my shoulder, watching him with those serious eyes she got from her mother. "Pete," he said. Quiet, like he wasn't sure he was allowed to say it. "Where's your people, Pete?" He looked down at his hands. "Mama died in September," he said. "Papa said he can't keep me no more. He said $5 is a fair price. He said it plain, the way children say terrible things when they haven't had time yet to understand they're terrible." I stayed crouched there for a moment. The snow was coming down around us. A wagon went past in the street, and neither of us looked at it. "How long you been sitting here?" I said. "Since morning." I looked up at the sky. It was past midday. Behind me, Noah tugged on my coat sleeve. I turned. She had her head tilted to one side, the way she did when she was working something out. "Daddy," she said, "can we bring him with us?" I went still, not because the question surprised me, because of how easy she said it. No weight to it. No hesitation. Just, "Can we bring him with us?" Like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Maybe for a 4-year-old it was. I need to say something honest here, and I don't say it to make myself look good. My first thought wasn't yes. My first thought was all the reasons why not. I was moving. I had no house, no settled land. I had work in the next county that wasn't guaranteed. I had one child already, and she was all I had left of her mother, and I was barely keeping the two of us together as it was. I had 100 reasons. Good ones, most of them. I looked at Pete. He was watching me the way he'd probably watched a dozen men that morning. Careful, waiting to see what came next. Not expecting much. That look, I knew that look. I'd worn it myself once, young, after my own father made a decision that put me outside what I'd called home. You learn not to expect. You learn to just wait and see which way the wind blows. It's a hard thing to learn at any age. At 7, it's too early. Nora tugged my sleeve again. Not hard, just a reminder. She was patient, that girl, but she didn't give up easy. I looked at her. What would we do with him? I said. Not to argue, genuinely asking. She thought about it for exactly 2 seconds. He could sleep in my blanket, she said. I don't use the whole thing. I bought him a meal first. That seemed like the right order of things. There was a place across the street. Not much. Just a woman who sold soup from a pot. By her door, I bought 3 bowls and we sat on the boardwalk and ate. Pete held his bowl with both hands like he was worried it might disappear. He ate fast. I ged. The way you eat, when you've learned not to trust that there'll be more. Nora ate slow. She always did. She kept looking at him since they were not bad time. We should not be somewhere. I went to see him now. I ended back, a sweet spring. What is it, Nora? Said Brown, reached over without saying anything, and broke her biscuit in half, and put the bigger half on the lap of his bowl. He looked at it for a moment. Then he ate it. Nobody said anything about it. After the soup, I pulled the cardboard sign off from around his neck. He watched me do it, didn't flinch, didn't ask why. Just watched. I folded it up and put it in my coat pocket. I don't know exactly why I did that instead of throwing it in the street. Maybe because it felt like something that deserved to be buried somewhere private rather than left out for anyone to step on. You have anything else? I asked him. Bag, coat, anything. Just what I'm wearing, he said. I nodded. All right then, I said. He looked at me. Still careful. Still waiting. We're headed to Culton, I said. About a day's ride east. I've got work there, maybe. Might be a place to stay while I sort things. I paused. I can't promise you much more than that right now. He was quiet for a moment. That's more than I got, he said. We made Culton the next afternoon. The work was there. A man named Guthrie needed a hand with winter fencing and didn't ask many questions. He had a small barn with a loft that was warmer than it looked. That first night, I lay awake listening to the 2 of them breathe in the hay above me. Nora had given Pete half her blanket, just like she said she would. He'd taken it without ceremony, which made me think he was settling in. I didn't sleep much. I kept thinking about what I'd done, whether it was right, whether I had any business making that kind of decision on the fly, in the snow, with a bowl of soup and no plan. A man can do right and still be scared he did it wrong. Those 2 things can sit in the same chest at the same time. In the morning, Pete was up before both of us. He'd already brought water from the pump and stacked some of the loose wood against the barn wall. He did it without being asked. without saying anything about it. I watched him from the loft ladder. He worked like someone who was afraid of being a burden. That hit me someplace I didn't expect. We stayed in Colton through the winter. Duffrey was a reasonable man, and the fencing work stretched into other work, the way it does when you show up steady and don't steal anything. I filed papers in the spring. It took longer than I'd have liked, and cost more than I had. Easy, and a man at the county office looked at me sideways more than once. Single man, no. Property, taking on another man's child. But it went through. Pete didn't cry when I told him. He nodded, slow, like he was filing it in a drawer. Somewhere in his head. Then he went back to what he was doing, which was teaching Nora how to braid rope, badly, the way someone teaches who only half knows it themselves. She was laughing at him. He was trying not to smile. I left him to it. I think about Nora's question sometimes, the way she said it. Can we bring him with us? Like it wasn't even a question, really. Like the answer was already decided, and she was just checking whether I'd caught up yet. She's grown now. Pete, too. They're both a long way from that boardwalk. I still have that cardboard sign. Kept it in the lining of a coat for years. Don't know exactly why. Maybe so I'd remember what a man can walk past if he isn't paying attention. Maybe so I'd remember what a 4-year-old saw that I almost didn't. Some things you get right by accident. That one, I think I needed help. Winter, 1889, Frontier Narration Series.